Let's now turn to a special report. Every month, we take you to a place in New Mexico to learn more about how people are responding to environmental concerns. This month on Our Land, correspondent Laura Paskus sits down with a renowned climate change scientist to look at the broad view of what's happening in our region and what science can tell us about what the future may hold.
Jonathan Overpeck has been studying climate change in the Southwest for decades, and he says scientists are observing a shift in how droughts develop.
The most iconic drought in New Mexico recorded history was the 1950s drought, and that was a drought that was marked by reduced precipitation, and it was all about reduced precipitation. What we're seeing now in the drought that's going on is that it's more due to temperature increase and less due to precipitation deficit. And as we go into the future, that'll even get more and more so the droughts will be really defined by hotness, by temperature, warm temperatures. And that just sucks the moisture out of the soil, sucks the moisture out of our rivers, and leaves the droughts ever more devastating.
When Overpeck talks about climate change in the southwestern United States, he's really talking about changes in water, the amount of water that's available in streams and rivers as the region keeps warming. On both the Colorado River and the Rio Grande, the Southwest's two most important rivers, warming means less water.
Well, the Colorado River is really important to 7 states, including New Mexico. And there's a diversion of Colorado River water that flows down the San Juan to the Rio Chama and into the Rio Grande. And therefore, every glass of water you drink has a little bit of Colorado River water in it. But really, New Mexicans should also be worried about the Rio Grande. Its problems are pretty much the same as the Colorado River.
There's no doubt the planet is warming. Worldwide temperature records over long periods of time tell us that. So do tree ring and other records. And models scientists developed over decades show what's happening and where we're headed.
Well, our models are well tested now, and a lot of people think that these models aren't so good at simulating the future, but they are really good at simulating some things like temperature. And the reason we know that is because they all agree. They agree with what's happening in Mother Nature, so what's observed, and they agree with simple physics. So we have a lot of confidence that the future will be more warming as long as we keep putting greenhouse gases like carbon dioxide from burning fossil fuels into the atmosphere. On the other hand, when it comes to precipitation, there's more uncertainty. The models are a little more mixed. There hasn't been any observed change in precipitation in the upper basin of the Colorado. So the best bet is to go with no change in precipitation going into the future.
The biggest uncertainty is what humans will do. How much carbon dioxide and methane, greenhouse gases, will continue pumping into the atmosphere. The more we emit, the more temperatures will rise.
Well, the news does sound bad. We're going to lose our water supplies as we warm the planet. Not all of them, but we'll have less and less water the more we allow this planet to warm. And that sounds like pretty bad news. The good news really is that we understand what's going on. We understand why it's going on very well. We know that humans are causing the warming. We know it's the burning of fossil fuels and the emissions of carbon dioxide that are the real culprit. So that's really important because it gives us a chance to stop it if we wish. And that's what the kind of debate we need to have in society. Do we really want to risk losing half the flows in our rivers or more? And if we don't, the good news is that we know how to slow down the losses just by slowing down our emissions of carbon dioxide.
There are also things we can do here in New Mexico. In other states like Arizona, California, and Nevada, water managers are storing water underground instead of in reservoirs where evaporation is a problem. That way, when we do have good years, like last year, we can bank that water underground and save it for when we need it. For New Mexico in Focus and Our Land, I'm Laura Paskus.